This Super Bowl Sunday is set to have an epic matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, there's a few reasons why millions and millions of people tune into this game every single year in the United States. Number one, they are a fan of one of the two teams that made the big game. Number two, they're just a football fan in general. Number three, they have money riding on this game. They love to gamble. That is a huge reason people tune into the Super Bowl. Now, of course, there are some other big reasons, like what artists are going to be at the game, what commercials are going to play, are they going to be funny, are they going to be memorable, those types of things. But one of the biggest reasons that people tune in and you see a spike during the time the game airs is the Super Bowl halftime show. This year, the artist that will be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show is going to be Usher, well known for some of his big hits like Caught Up, Burn, Confessions Part 2, OMG, and my personal favorite, I think of his whole catalog, has to be Yeah. And I know that might be the easy choice, but I will say this, I'm going to go out on a limb for the hot take: the best beat ever made is in that song. So I'm really excited to see this halftime concert. But a couple of the fun facts about the concert itself, or the halftime show, is that it usually attracts over 100 million viewers for 12 to 15 minutes during a shortened mini concert that some of these artists put on. Now, of course, there are guest stars performing with the headliner, but the headliner is typically the one that gets most views, the most memes made out of them, and of course, a lot of spikes in fans and record sales. Last year, we saw Rihanna perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. She took out makeup, applied it for about a second, and we saw sales absolutely skyrocket and views of the website blow up as well. Not to mention, she got billions of views based on clips in short form or long form on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. Now, a pretty well-known fun fact is that the Super Bowl actually doesn't pay the artists for their performance, but they do help front the bill for their production costs. Well, whether you want to admit it or not, Usher has really not been huge in the limelight over the last 10 years. Yes, he's made some good music here and there, but he is not at the level that he was back in his prime. So, of course, this is going to give him a huge boost to his popularity, and young listeners are going to find out who he is, possibly for the first time, like we saw with the boost of Missy Elliott when she came out and did her thing. Now, today we're going to rank the top 5 artists to turn down the Super Bowl, as a matter of fact, with a couple of honorable mentions. This was actually a really hard list to make because these are some icons. I'm sure the list goes on, but these are the ones that I saw that really matter. All right, let's get this thing started off with the honorable mentions list. Number 1 on the honorable mentions list is Lauryn Hill, a former star of the Fugees and a solo recording artist. She's widely known as one of the best female rappers of all time, but I believe she started getting out of the limelight because she was feeling anxious and wasn't really into performances anymore. And plus, she was only asked to be a guest star with Maroon 5, not the headliner. So for that reason, honorable mention. At number 2 on the honorable mentions list is one of the most famous rappers of the past 5 years. She's most known for some of her mega hits, including Bodak Yellow, WAP, and I Like It. And though those songs are really good, I do feel like it kind of hits that vulgar area that would definitely keep it from really being a family type of performance and show, which would limit the amount of reach it would have. Don't get me wrong, it would still be huge. Obviously, she would have success with it, but it doesn't reach as much of a crowd as, say, Usher would this year. Apparently, she declined to perform because of Colin Kaepernick's protest, so for that reason, she has not worked for the NFL since. Now, of course, Cardi B would be able to rock the stage with hits like WAP, Bodak Yellow, and I Like It. Number 3 on the honorable mentions list is one of the most famous female artists in country music of all time. She's actually in the Country Music Hall of Fame and has 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. Now, she is on the older side of things with songs like Jolene, 9 to 5, and I Will Always Love You. Her name is Dolly Parton. Now, she is widely loved across the United States and in country music, but I will say I watched the Thanksgiving performance, and I think one of those was more than enough. She apparently declined it though for the most humble reason on the list, and that is because she felt like she wasn't big enough of an artist to make it worth the NFL's while. And the fourth honorable mention on the list was this close to breaking into the top 5, mostly because of how big of a star she is. Internationally, she would bring over definite viewers from all around the world. She is mostly known for how many awards she has won more than anything because of her incredibly powerful voice and her emotional performances. Her notable songs include Rolling in the Deep, Hello, and Someone Like You. This woman's name is Adele. So she turned down the Super Bowl performance because she felt like it was not about music, it was more about flashiness, and she didn't dance or do anything like that, so it made sense for her not to do it. But I will say that if she would have accepted, I think it would have been more of an art form than it would have been a party, and it would have been a refreshing look at the Super Bowl, though a lot of people probably would have said it didn't really match well with football. So it really kind of up in the air, but that's why she is on the honorable mention list, because I couldn't really decide whether it would be a good performance or not. All right, now it's time to crack into the top 5 artists that turned down a Super Bowl performance. At number 5, this artist also turned down the Super Bowl performance because of Colin Kaepernick's protesting, but my personal opinion is that she did not want to become a target during a year of protests for minorities. She is a pop/rock singer with over 100 awards that she has won throughout the course of her career. She's most known for songs like What About Us, So What, and Get the Party Started. And I will say that she is much more decorated than I ever imagined, but I will say that she has plenty of songs to sing along to for a halftime performance. This artist's name is Pink. Now, I will say that her catalog of music is very impressive, and I think that it would be even more impressive of a performance at the Super Bowl if she brought on artists that were popular during her time like Avril Lavigne, Kelly Clarkson, and maybe even somebody like Christina Aguilera. And the reason she made number 5 over Adele, Dolly Parton, and even Cardi B is because I think that she would bring in the fire, the rebellious spirit, and the aggressive type of performance that would be really exciting at the Super Bowl. At number 4, this rap duo out of Atlanta, Georgia decided to turn down the Super Bowl because they weren't allowed to play their music in its entirety. They would have to cut things, and they didn't want to do that. This rap duo is most known for music like Hey Ya, Miss Jackson, So Fresh and So Clean. They are phenomenal performers, and one of the two is actually one of the greatest rappers of all time, and Andre 3000. This group's name is Outkast. Now, they have plenty of awards, but I think what really brings it all together here, even though they are an older school rap group, maybe from the 2000s and early 2010s, is because they have a style of rap that is very exciting, very dance and party-like. It just feels like they have rap for everybody. People that just want to dance, people that want to bob along, people that want to rap along as well. And if Missy Elliott can do it this many years after her prime, Outkast would absolutely skyrocket their sales and their popularity amongst the young people. And when I said that they turned down a Super Bowl performance because they would have their songs cut down, it was apparently because Andre 3000 didn't want to do that. At number 3, this is part of the big 4 of thrash metal. They are from 1981 when they formed as a heavy metal group. This is one of the most iconic rock bands of all time, and they are known for their songs like Enter Sandman, One, and Master of Puppets. You guys know them as Metallica. I think that this would be an incredible performance. Even though this really isn't my genre, I would say that this type of music is synonymous with football locker rooms, and you just can't go wrong when you have this at the Super Bowl halftime show. It just adds to the aggression of the football game itself. The violence on the field would just complement it perfectly, and I think that they would rock the stage even this many years after their peak. And like I said before, this is not my genre, but it is not hard to see the greatness that would come out of this. Now, I can't forget to tell you why they declined to perform. They decided to decline because they wanted to protect their artistic integrity. They wanted all the creative rights, and the NFL wanted to shorten things and change what they wanted to hear and pick out some of the stuff. So for that reason, Metallica was out. At number 2 on the list is one of the most well-known rappers of all time, an icon in the music industry with over 20 Grammy Awards. This guy probably has more money than anybody in rap. This guy probably has more connections than anybody in rap. And personally, I'm not a huge fan of this particular rapper, though I do like the music around him, and Watch the Throne was phenomenal with Kanye West, so I will give him that. He's also married to an icon herself. This man's name is Jay-Z. known for songs like 99 Problems, Empire State of Mind, Big Pimpin'. He would have plenty of songs to do this solo, but I think what would make it way better is if he called on some of those numbers in his phone and made this performance rock out like Dr. Dre did. Now I have to say why Jay-Z turned down the Super Bowl halftime show. Apparently it was because the NFL was trying to handpick who he was going to perform with and kind of just change some things that he wanted, and for that reason he decided it just wasn't for him. Now at number 1, this is probably the biggest superstar in the entire world right now, whether we like to admit it or not. From my understanding, she decided to turn down the Super Bowl because it really wasn't beneficial to her. Sold out crowds every single night all across the world. It really didn't make sense. Plus the NFL probably would have benefited more from her than she would have from the NFL. But she has been just in the stands watching a certain someone on the Kansas City Chiefs, and the NFL ratings have boosted through the roof. And for that reason, the NFL kind of got what they wanted anyways without her even having to step a foot on the stage. This woman's name, Taylor Swift. Now she's definitely going to be in attendance at the Super Bowl to watch Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. So the NFL is going to get a double whammy with Usher on stage and Taylor Swift in a box somewhere in a suite. Now I gotta say, this concert would be an absolute movie, and I feel like this would be more appreciated like 5 or 6 years down the road for people that aren't Swifties. Regardless, the NFL would gain big from it, and it would be an iconic performance. And the reason that she's number 1 on this list is because if she did decide to accept the Super Bowl performance, she would probably be the biggest artist to perform since 1993 when Michael Jackson did it.